think we've seen the last of our 80 degree weather.
Well, I hope so.
Yeah. Imagine we have.
Well, I don't know the way the weather's been going. Keep playing.
Oh.
I've got a.
This is supposed to be live, but you're not playing. So it's delayed. There must be a 7-second delay.
Oh, well, that's not going to work because she's going to see my mouth moving and she's going to hear it.
Yeah.
7 seconds late.
Yeah.
Yeah, that ain't.
How can you tell it's late?
Because the music was still playing.
Oh,
He was there.
I got you. Okay.
See what you can hear if you can hear talking about. But it's not what we're saying. It's what we said, like.
It's recorded.
I'm just now hearing you say it's 7-second delay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that
ain't gonna work.
It's more.
She's gonna. Well, I don't know. If she can't hear anything else. Maybe I don't know. We'll have to see. It's up to her. Whatever.
It's more than 7 seconds late.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, we know that we can broadcast from one phone. If I can figure out how to hook the other phone up so it's direct, what I had to do was go from the church phone to broadcast to Facebook, and then I'm playing Facebook on my phone and broadcasting to here. That's why there's a delay. And I hadn't figured out how to go directly from the church phone to here.
1, 2, 3. It's just now hearing the chimes.
Yeah, that'll confuse her if she's listening. So
That must be going around the world and coming back.
it's going to Facebook and coming back again. Yes.
Boy, oh boy, long trip.
Yes. Well, we'll give her a choice.
She can close her eyes and listen to it, but I can't change the volume.
She said, I can change it on my. Oh, well, we'll have to see once turn it back on again.
See, when we arrived, we doubled the package. All right.
Any place you want, you can sit back in the back.
Oh, well, okay.
You can just try it. See
Have to
if it works.
Hi, Kenny.
listen to it with your eyes closed.
Yes.
Here you go, Ken.
Yeah, I'm getting more like Richard all the time.
Oh, no, that's okay. I'm the one. My printer cartridge is out a little bit, so sorry about that.
But I think I sent you the wrong thing, didn't I?
You did, but you sent me the right one. And I got it. Yeah, no problem. Yeah. We'll get it.
So we
She what?
can keep that for the rest of the crowd.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you. I like your red.
I do too, it was a pretty color.
Okay, welcome to First Universalist. Another fun weekend. Once again, as usual, and if there's anybody out there, if Emerson is listening and can give us a help, I'm having trouble with the connection between the computer and the TV screen, so I bought a thing called a dongle, which is a wireless connection. Can't get it to work. I bought wireless headphones for Cecil, but I can't get them to work off of the TV, so they're coming off of my phone, which means she's about... You're not hearing anything? Wait about a minute. It has to go to Moscow and then come back to here. So you will hear it loud and clear, but it'll be a little bit behind. So if I can get some help electronically, we should be able to hook the headphones.
I'm gonna get her.
We're going to hook the headphones. Well, we'll get the headphones hooked up directly to the TV, and then you'll hear it live time. So. Is there any noise coming through at all, Dolly?
Are they on?
Well, let's see.
Are any lights coming off the sides or anything?
Yeah, go right there.
Yeah. Is there a switch on the side?
Are the lights blinking? Are you hearing anything? You should be hearing something, but it'll be behind.
Say something.
Well, are you hearing anything? You should be hearing what I said. Actually, let me see if my phone is still up. Maybe my phone's not. You hear it now?
Oh.
You hear it? Too loud? It's too loud. Let me turn it down a little bit.
Where's the control? Yeah, he's got to do it. He's doing it.
Now try it and see. It'll take time. I don't know if this is going to work because it's got like a minute delay, so it'll just be, you'll be able to hear it when you hear it behind.
That's right.
So anyway, anybody that can help out, I would appreciate it. I'm going to keep working on it. I'll go to my go-to place, YouTube, and say, how do I hook this up? And then I'll get 50 answers, only one of which will be right, and I'll have to sort through them. So we'll see if we can figure it out. Okay. Let's see. Our scripture this Sunday is 1 John 1 through 6. If we claim to have fellowship with him, yet walk in the darkness, we lie and do not live by the truth. And we're talking about Halloween, which is, does anybody recognize what that is? There's a guy named Stingy John, and we'll go through the story and I'll explain it all as we go. So it's something to look for. Do we have any announcements?
No, we don't.
No announcements. The only announcement is our repeating announcement. We'll have a joint service with El Dorado Sunday after Thanksgiving at El Dorado. They meet at 10:30. They are providing food. I'm sure if we bring something, they wouldn't mind, but it will not be necessary. You don't have to bring anything. We'll try to maintain our relationship. Haven't seen Derek for a while. He's working full time somewhere, and they're getting friends community, yeah, and they're getting a substitute service or preacher almost every other Sunday over there. So he's spread himself pretty thin. So it'd be nice to hear him again. All right, our prelude: someone to watch over me. watch over me, which we definitely need. Chalice lighting, welcome all you saints. Welcome all you saints. Yes, you are saints. All of you are saints. For it is not by perfection that we are sainted, rather it is by our actions. It is not by perfection we are sainted, rather it is by our presence. It is not by perfection that we are sainted, rather it is by our giving. It is not by perfection that we are sainted, rather it is by our living. It is not by perfection that we are sainted, rather it is by our gathering together in love, with love, to become a nurturing, welcoming, healing, and faithful worshiping community. Welcome all you saints. Our opening hymn is 68, Come Ye Thankful People. Okay, our affirmation is appropriate meditation for challenging times. Holy mystery, silent presence, uncertain bearer of the weight of it all. In these quiet moments, we listen for the maybe still breathing, perhaps still whispering, the faintest sign of the universalist good. We listen between the cacophony of distractions, pulling us toward untruth and falsehood. We listen amidst the shrill cries of desperation, of we've had enough, of when will they stop killing my people? How much more will the waters rise? Or when will it be safe to return to my home? Or how much longer can I hang on? We listen and we wait through the tumult of these days. We seek assurance, we seek fulfillment of a promise made to ourselves, a promise made to those we have been stretched to call neighbor, a promise written and enshrined and yet unfulfilled. Help us, abiding mystery, to hang on, to hold on when all is in question, when all is in doubt, help us to stay firm in our commitments, our own commitments and our own promises. Lead us back into connection, back into the bonds of humanity that help us know each other as beloved. May we continue to listen, may we keep watch, may we beckon love, justice, and mercy with our own whispers, with our shouts, with our cries, until all know themselves part of the circle of love. Amen. That's by Jones Eger Duval. As we've changed our progression of the series, we're going to Joys and Concerns. And my first concern is part of Halloween. As you see, the east wing has been demolished, and the quote at the top, which I'm sure you're all aware of, was when we proceed with the building of the ballroom, none of the existing White House will be touched. Everything will be left as is. And then the entire east wing was demolished. They said, and tried to explain it as that was a later addition in the 40s. I was listening to the White House historian talk this morning. The little portico, the little area between the East Wing and the White House, was built in 1801 by Thomas Jefferson. He added on. She explained the White House, if you notice, is not built in the sense of a European palace. It's not a fortress. It was built to look like an American house. A large house for the time, but still a house. And it wanted to maintain the balance of what an American house looked like. So when they built the West Wing for additional offices, they built the East Wing to balance it out. What is being done now, what has been done now, has destroyed that sense of history, that sense that the White House belongs to the people, that the White House is part of the people. It is becoming, well, if you noticed on Facebook, I should have put the picture in, I didn't have time, as a coincidence and a scary coincidence, and maybe not a coincidence. When Hitler was elected Chancellor of Germany in 1933, what was the first thing he did? He ordered the construction of a ballroom next to the Chancellery, 60,000 square feet. 60,000 square feet. It was completed in 1936, and underneath the ballroom, he had constructed the Fuhrer's bunker. 8 meters down, that's almost 28 feet deep. It survived all the way through the war. Until after the war, it was destroyed by the East German government because they did not want it to become a shrine, a place where people came to pay homage to Hitler. So if you go to Berlin, which I've been there a couple times, all there is a parking lot. The site of Hitler's bunker is a parking lot. It's been paved over. So you have to know where to look. You have to follow the guidebooks and they will tell you.
How many square feet is this ballroom?
This ballroom here is 50,000 square feet. Double, the size of the White House is about 25 to 30,000 square feet. So they are doubling the size of the White House. If you've seen the pictures, of the West Wing, the Oval Office, if you've seen the pictures of the Rose Garden, what used to be the Rose Garden, it looks like the patio at Mar-a-Lago. It's completely, there used to be grass and roses in there. Now it's nothing but a paved over patio with patio furniture, and not even advanced patio furniture. It's the exact same patio furniture. Probably got a bargain deal by buying in bulk. I made a mistake. No, somebody gave it to him to buy their way into Mar-a-Lago, so they gave him the patio furniture. The same thing is happening with the building of the ballroom. All the money supposedly has been contributed by other people. The way you can understand that is when the people's money, when tax money pays for something, it belongs to the people. When somebody else gives you the money to buy something, it belongs to them. So Meta and whatever the corporations are that are giving the money, they own a piece of that ballroom because they have built it. It's anti-American, it's un-American from the word go. So, all right, and one other thing I wanted to bring up. We talked last week. Here's a little Bible quiz. Jesus said, I was a stranger and you fill in the blank. You called me names. You put me in a cell. You took my kids. You welcomed me.
It's supposed to be D.
I would think Jesus would have said D. I would think any God-fearing American would say D. What we are seeing is A, B, and C all together. All right. Where are we? Oh, we didn't do any of the other stuff. We've talked about that. We need to talk about anybody who is in a speedboat in the Caribbean or the Pacific Ocean is liable to be obliterated from the sky with no warning. More than 43 already. Did you hear Trump's statement? We will kill them. Very, very seldom do you hear an American president be so honest and forthcoming, and promises to kill anybody on a speedboat. So, and the Colombian government said that was a fisherman, it was not a drug smuggler. So now we have cut off any kind of aid to Colombia, and he has spewed insults to the Colombian president. And we know that a lot of drugs come from Colombia, but a lot of drugs are produced in the United States, and we don't blame Trump for those. So you can't hardly blame the government of Colombia because they can't control all the drug people. So, but what you can do and can't do and what makes sense doesn't always fit. Ukraine, interesting things are happening. Russia has said that they basically thumbed their nose at all of Trump's peace proposals. So Trump, in a snip, has put in a embargo against Russian oil. That might actually have some effect. So we will see what happens with that. I don't think it's enough to get him a peace prize, but it is enough to get him on the road. Israel, the peace process, as we suspected, is not going as well as programmed. The Hamas is supposed to return all of the bodies. They say the Israelis have bombed Gaza completely flat. They can't even find the bodies. They're buried in tunnels. They have no equipment to dig them out. The Israelis are still blaming the Hamas, and the peace process is hanging in the balance. Israel has said definitively they want to annex Gaza. Trump has said he does not want them to annex Gaza, so that is a question. We will see what happens. You can see by the destruction, and I'll bring pictures maybe next week or the week after, pictures of before and after. Gaza is completely, there's 80 to 90% of the buildings have been destroyed, not just damaged, destroyed. When you look at the pictures, it is a wasteland. It is obviously the plan was to clear Gaza completely out, drive all the people out, and annex the territory.
Yeah.
What they've said they're going to do is what they are doing. So we will see whether that takes effect or not. Do we have anything else? Any other major earthly disasters that we can cover?
Maybe on a more local level, I don't know whether others have noticed this, but on Facebook there are various posts, at least from the Greenville area, concerning homeless individuals. I think homelessness has been there for a while, but it seems to be becoming more visible. And it's most unfortunate you see photos of these homeless people, but it's only you're seeing their photo because they've been incarcerated in a big drug shop. Most unfortunate when it really hits home when you see these faces of, people, and let's just hope that if nothing else, it's raising the awareness level that there's a problem, and that perhaps community groups, perhaps government, at local level can come together, as other communities have, and come up with at least a partial solution to supporting these individuals. So light a candle for that effort. Perhaps it's already underway, I hope so. But the comments written, it's actually a Crime Stopper type Facebook page that I'm looking at. But the comments are just, they run A to Z, of course, but they're very almost inhumane, some of them, whereas others actually talk about a personal incident with that particular individual and how they helped them or what possibly may be their problem. So anyway, at least it's raising the level of awareness, but let's hope there's a solution.
Yeah, the solution is still pretty far in the distance. I will give you a personal experience with homelessness. I have a house in Union City that we bought as a derelict house that was in pretty bad shape. One of my renters, her husband was abusive to her and she threw him out. He said, "Can I live in that house and fix it up? And then I'll work off the rent by staying in the house." So I said, okay. So he basically tore all the windows out, tore the floor up. He started hauling trash in. I don't know whether he was people were paying him to make it into the dump. This is in Oak Street in Union City. The backyard, when I said he could move in there, was clean, it was mowed and everything. Now the police are calling me. I'm being cited for having trash back there. I've hauled 2 loads out. As much as I haul out, it comes back in again. So I've gone in, because he's lived there for more than 10 days, I have to go to court to evict him. So it's going to cost me $250 to get him evicted. He's not only, he is living there, he's invited other homeless people to come. So now I have to amend my petition to the court, not only to evict this person, but to evict all the other unnamed people who he has invited to stay. That hearing won't be till the 30th, so I'm still fending off the police. So he will be homeless at that time. He had a house, the electricity was turned on, and all he had to do was keep the house. He didn't even have to actually fix the house, and he just hadn't hauled trash in and got me in trouble with the city. He could have stayed there. So now he will be homeless again, and the police are going to have to watch it every day, because me just having him legally evicted won't keep him out, and the doors were locked with padlocks. When he came there, he just broke all the locks off. So homelessness is not a simple answer. No. Many of these people are mentally ill, and the solution that the government, the Gestapo has come up with, is to force them into correctional facilities. If you remember One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, a movie from years ago, if you remember what the mentally ill were, they used to be in mental hospitals where they were abused and not treated. That is what they are proposing again. They say they won't take their meds, we will force them to take their meds. If they won't take their meds, they will be put in jail and locked up. That is the society's current solution, is if you have homeless people, you move them to a reservation. You've seen, there was a movie years ago, something about New York, where they just put all the homeless and disreputable people on the island. That is a solution in many places, where if you have something you don't like, you just isolate it. And that is the solution they are proposing. There are other solutions. I've told you many times about the solution they tried in California, where they provided housing, they provided mental health help, they provided cleaning to keep the houses clean. And the majority of these people finally got their lives on the right path with a little bit of help. Some people are mentally ill and refuse to take their medications. We have not come up with a solution for that yet, but that is not the majority of the homeless. Many of the homeless are there by circumstances, and there will be more homelessness coming up because government benefits are being cut, jobs are being lost, food stamps are stopping, there's going to be less support for kids, and I told you and went over this before, at the meeting, the farmers meeting in Versailles 6 or 7 months ago, when our prominent leader of the legislature got up and said, there's no reason to provide food to kids. When I was a child, my parents provided my food, and that's the parents' responsibility. The problem is some parents shirk their responsibility. That child still deserves to eat. The plan was to let every child eat breakfast and lunch on state money and have the state pay for that. With the amount of money we're giving away to many other places, there's no reason not to at least consider that. So we're getting way too political for people who don't like political stuff, but these are perilous times we are in. So, all right, any other joys or concerns? All right, we'll go to the children's story. I told you about Jack. We'll see if we can.
Walking in the moors of countryside, Satan posed as a dead man, hanging from a tree branch, and waiting for Stingy Jack to approach. When Jack came across the body, a deranged face with wide eyes and an evil grin stared back at him. In that instant, Jack realized his time was up, and that the devil had come to collect his soul. He asked the devil for a final request before departing. Satan, in a merciful mood uncharacteristic of himself, granted it. that he wanted just one more drink before he had to depart the living world. And he took the devil to the nearest tavern. One drink turned into another, and then another, and another. When it was time for them to pay their tab, Jack casually turned to his new drinking buddy and persuaded him that, since he had magical powers, he could simply transform himself into a piece of silver to pay the tab. The devil obliged and shifted form, but instead of paying the barkeep, Jack shoved the coin into his pocket. Having been double-crossed, the devil fought to get out, but a crucifix in the pocket trapped Satan in the coin form. Jack made Satan a proposition. If he would leave Jack alone and let him live another decade, he would release him from the coin. Seeing no other option, Satan reluctantly agreed, and the bargain was struck. 10 years later, Stingy Jack's amnesty had reached its limit. It was time to pay the devil his due. As with before, Jack asked his dark companion for a final request. He asked for an apple from a nearby tree to quell his hunger for the long journey. While Satan selected an apple, Jack quickly carved 4 crucifixes into the trunk of the tree, trapping the evil being within its branches. Stingy Jack had yet again gotten the better of the devil, and Satan, yet again, trapped and at Jack's mercy. Jack once again offered the demon his freedom, on the condition that Jack would not go to hell. And as with before, Satan had little choice but to submit to the con man's wishes. Jack approached the gates of St. Peter. He was barred from entering. Despite his victories over Satan, Jack still led a deceitful life of cruelty, always drinking far in excess and abusing and tormenting all who crossed his path. Such a sinful soul would not be granted access to the kingdom of heaven. So Jack turned away and journeyed down to the entrance of hell. But Satan also refused Jack's entrance into his kingdom, both honoring their agreement and for revenge against his humiliations at Jack's hands. The way back was windy and very dark. Stingy Jack pleaded with the devil to at least provide him with a light to help find his way. Satan, as a final gesture, tossed Jack an ember straight from the fires of hell. To carry this burning ember, Jack found a turnip, hollowed it out, turning it into a makeshift lantern. Ever since, Stingy Jack's ghost could be seen wandering aimlessly around the Irish countryside. Whenever locals saw mysterious lights, they would say, "That's just Jack of the Lantern." With Stingy Jack damned to wander the world until Judgment Day, the people of Ireland did not want his wicked spirit visiting their homes. So on October 31st, the day of the Celtic festival of Samhain, All Hallows Eve, when the spirits of the netherworld could pass through to the world of the living, each home carved a menacing face into turnips and rutabagas, and prominently displayed them on their doorsteps with a burning candle to ward off.
The story of Stingy Jack, which is the beginnings of Halloween. You want to see what?
That's neat.
It is fun. It was fun to do. That's where and this was, I kind of cut this story down because it's like a 15-minute story and we couldn't spend 15 minutes on it. Stingy Jack is an Irish folk tale, and that's how the thing of carving pumpkins came from, to get started. In Ireland, they didn't have pumpkins, they had turnips and rutabagas, so that's what they carved. But when the Irish came to America, they brought their traditions with them, and boy, there was something here that was really worth carving, which was a pumpkin. So now we have, this was the kids at New Carlisle made their pumpkins. They didn't carve them, they just painted them. So that's how they started their Halloween celebration over there. All right. We're going to talk about Halloween and the transition, what has happened to Halloween, as I guess I'm in a rut talking about the old days and how things have changed. Not necessarily for the worse, but not necessarily for the better. Have you noticed a change in Halloween from your childhood? Horror seems to be in ascendance. Halloween displays used to be Casper the Ghost. What kind of ghost?
Friendly.
Casper was a friendly ghost. A friendly ghost. Costumes used to be a sheet with some eye holes cut in it. Halloween used to be the Addams Family with Thing, the little hand that walked around. Fun things to watch. Can you picture Samantha, the bewitched, twitching her nose at Darren, and how much fun that was for Halloween? Even later, and those are pretty far back, but even later you had the movie Hocus Pocus, a fun movie, but still a movie about Halloween where terror was you knew terror was not terror. Terror was something fun to watch. You had Thackeray Binks. Do you remember Thackeray Binks? That was the boy that had been bewitched to become the black cat. So, just as a sidelight, how did cats become to be so familiar? The companions of witches, disparaged and discouraged, even though their rodent services were heralded. Why did the church hate cats so much? And the church was the one, if you remember, if you look back, was the one that started the instigation and the pogrom against witches and anyone who served witches. The cats were called their demon servants. At the time of the Inquisition, this is when this started, cats were, just like the old ladies they served, independent, untrainable, and uncontrollable. Cats were beyond the reach of the church to force into the correct behavior. Thus, cats became the enemy, just like the old ladies who knew the herbs and healing processes became kind of independent people who didn't follow what the church said. They became the enemy of the church. So cats became associated with witches, demons in cat form who carried out the witches' commands, so said the church. So horrible customs evolved, including dunking the independent old ladies. Remember the Monty Python's The Holy Grail? There was a scene in there about dunk the witch, dunk the witch. I didn't have time to put that in, but it was pretty amazing. It was still funny. The worst, and this is an extension of the Inquisition where people were tortured. A person would take a cat and roast it alive over an open flame, turning it on a spit. The cat would scream in agony, and this would summon the devil to protect one of his own. The devil would plead with the person to end the cat's suffering, but the person would hold out until the devil promised to fulfill a certain request, often some prediction of the future, at which time the cat would be put out of its misery. Does this sound like Stingy Jack? And the whole story of Stingy Jack was he was a person of disrepute and a drinker in Ireland. When the devil, he saw him hanging on the trail to take Jack to hell. Jack tricked the devil by saying, "Can you grant me one last drink?" which turned into more drinks, which then he said, "How are we going to pay?" And Jack said to the devil, "Well, you're a magician. Turn yourself into a silver coin and we will pay our bill." Except he put the silver coin in his pocket with a crucifix, which meant the devil could not escape. Jack bargained his way into another 10 years of life. When the 10 years were up, the devil came to collect Jack's soul. Jack said, "How about an apple for the road?" Then he carved 4 crucifixes in the tree when the devil went up to get the apple and tricked the devil again and wouldn't let him down until he granted him long life and promised never to take him to hell. So when Jack finally died, I had to cut part of that story out. He appeared at Heaven's Gate and was refused entry because he was an evil person. So then he wanted to go back to hell, at least to have a place to go, and the devil said, I made a promise that you are not to be into hell either. So Jack was condemned to wander the world. Jack asked for a light on the way. The devil gave him an ember of hell. To hold it, he carved a turnip and put that in there. So whenever people would see a light in the woods, that would be Jack from the Hallows, All Hallowed Eve, or Halloween. Interesting story. Is there a connection between the horrors of the real world and the actual real world? Halloween is a celebration observed in many countries on the 31st of October, the eve of Western Christian feast of All Hallows Day. It's at the beginning of the observance of All Hallowtide in the time of the Christian liturgical year, dedicated to remembering the dead, including the saints, martyrs, and all the faithful departed. Popular culture, Halloween has become a celebration of horror and is associated with the macabre and the supernatural. One theory holds that many Halloween traditions were influenced by the Celtic harvest festivals, including the Gaelic festival Samhain, which is spelled Samhain, which always gets me when I try to pronounce it, but it is pronounced Samhain, and you heard him pronounce it in the story, which are believed to have been with pagan roots. Some theories go farther and suggest that Samhain may have been Christianized as All Hallows Day, along with the eve by the early church. As you know, and we've talked about this many times, many of the pagan ceremonies and rites, including Christmas and the Christmas tree, were adopted and incorporated by the Catholic Church, so the pagan people felt completely at home with the new religion. Their traditions and histories were just basically subsumed by the new church. Irish and Scottish immigrants took many Halloween customs to North America, hence the pumpkin carving. The Christian minister linked the wearing of costumes to the belief of vengeful ghosts. It was traditionally believed the souls of the departed wandered the earth until All Souls Day, or All Hallows Eve, provided one last chance for the dead to gain vengeance on their enemies before moving to the next world. In order to avoid being recognized by any soul that might be seeking such vengeance, people would don masks or costumes. In the Middle Ages, churches in Europe that were too poor to display relics of martyred saints let parishioners dress up as the saints instead. Many Christians in mainland Europe, especially in France, believe that once a year on Halloween, the dead of the churchyards rose in one wild, hideous carnival known as the Danse Macabre, which was often depicted in church decorations. The New Cambridge Medieval History said the Danse Macabre urged Christians not to forget the end of all earthly things. It was enacted in European villages as pageants and courts, people dressing up as corpses from the various strata, and this may be the origin of the Halloween costume parties. People will look for any excuse for a party, and that is as good as any. So, before we carve pumpkins, the Irish chiseled creepy faces onto turnips. Pumpkins with ghoulish faces illuminated by candles are a sure sign of Halloween. This started with the turnip carving in Ireland, which we've already gone over. Halloween was originally called Samhain and marked the end of harvest season for Celtic farmers. I've told you about Stingy Jack, so we're going to skip over that. So the Irish came to America, found Premier gourd for carving much better than the puny turnip, the pumpkin. So All Hallows Eve became Halloween, and scary stories morphed into gory films and truly terrifying yard ornaments of significant cost. If you've paid attention to what's going on in the yards, not just in New Madison, not New Madison, not too bad, but in Richmond and Greenville, I looked at Lowe's and most of the Walmart, the stores, they have skeletons that are like 8 feet tall for
Yeah.
$200 and $300.
A lot of skeletons.
They have skeletons that move and yard decorations, and I've seen many things. I should have put one on here. I didn't really have time to set it up. On YouTube, you could see there's like a witch standing on the front porch with a bowl of candy in front and inviting people to take the candy, but it's motion activated. So like there was one where a coyote would come up or a raccoon would come up or even a deer would come up and start eating the candy. And then the witch her eyes would light up and she would make a scary noise. And the deer would jump like 15 feet in the air. It's pretty hilarious. Even people would come up. The UPS guy came up, and when he walked in front of the witch, she moved and he jumped. So pretty. The technology that we have now is pretty incredible, and the amount of money people are spending on it is pretty incredible. But the horror that underlies it, I think, is what is bothering me. The world is getting more horrifying with each passing week. Is it any surprise that popular culture reflects the unease that we live with every day? Speedboats are blown out of the water with no warning. Treasured national symbols are eviscerated while we watch in a wanton display of unbounded authority. Masked men leap out of unmarked vans and snatch people off the street away from their children and spouses, or they take children away from their parents. These people disappear and nothing is heard from them, and perhaps they appear weeks later in some foreign country if they are able to make contact, or they are kept in an unnamed jail far, far away from where they were arrested. Lawyers have no aspect or have no ability to talk to them. Families have no ability to contact them. This is a time of horror that we are living in. Masked anonymous lines, maybe troops, heard protesters down the road using tear gas and pepper balls on peaceful citizens trying to protect strangers. Is it any wonder that Halloween Fright Night seems to be merging with our reality? If you've seen the pictures of the officials, the troops on the roof shooting pepper balls, there was a Presbyterian minister standing just asking for peace, asking for understanding, shot him in the head twice, and he was doing nothing but just standing there with a pepper ball. This is the kind of thing that and we talked before about the troops dropping from helicopters in Chicago, mounting an aerial assault, basically on the tenement building. They found 2 people who were drug dealers out of like the 70 people that lived there, but they broke down all the doors, brought everybody out, including the children, in their night clothes. This is in the middle of the night, and zip-tied them. These are not the actions of a democratic government, not the actions of a government that cares about controlling crime. These are the actions that want to frighten the populace into submission. And that's the horror that we are actually dealing with today. So, all right, comments or questions? Anybody that has a suggestion, something you want to hear about, a topic, I'd be more than happy if you want to bring me pictures back from your trip.
I don't take pictures.
Anybody on your group have a Facebook page that has all their pictures?
I look at them.
Because if you want to, I'll pull the pictures down off the Facebook, and if you want to do a little commentary on what you saw, we can.
Well, most of them are sunsets.
Well, what I'm reaching for is if you want to hear something different than the stuff I come up with every week, I am open to any suggestions. I'm trying to broaden our thing a little bit, which is why we're talking about Halloween. But as you can see, anything that I talk about is sucked back into that maelstrom that is current living today that we are living with. It's something that we cannot escape, and I don't want to escape. You can hear people like Robert Reich, the previous secretary under Biden, or maybe it was Obama. There are plenty of warnings out there, people telling us we are on the cusp of a change, and we are losing what is dear and near and dear to Americans' hearts. We are losing the ability to make choices. Even now, they are sending poll watchers into the state of California, only to the blue counties, the counties that vote blue. The government is sending people to intimidate people at the polls, what they call poll watchers. That's to basically encourage people who may be questionable or may not know for sure what their rights are not to vote. They're doing everything they can to control the vote in the next election.
What government department is doing that?
The Department of Homeland Security.
Christie Noah.
Yes.
At Christie's
But
back.
everybody, and that's the thing, everything is so nebulous. If you watch what's going on, Trump makes more and more mistakes. There are more and more questions about his senility. There are people behind the scenes. It's just like Hitler. If you look at Hitler, Hitler was on drugs. He was basically not making a lot of sense. Some things he had said we are going to do, like invade Russia, and refused to let his generals surrender when it could have saved hundreds of thousands of lives and prolonged the war. The same thing is going on now. Trump is not coming up with all these ideas about how to treat the civilian population and how to do all these things. The people around him are. But when Trump says something, he wants it done, like he wants these boats because it makes a good visual sight on TV. He wants these boats killed up, and he wants to say, we will kill people, and that is what we're going to do. We are going to kill people. Then he comes to the fore, but he's not running the government. He doesn't have the capacity to come up with all of these ideas, shut down these different government agencies and to furlough all these people and to not pay them. He's basically, these ideas are planted in his brain, and they kind of filter out, and when you listen to his talks, when he gives speeches, he wanders all over the place. He can't stay on topic. He can't think about anything for a long enough time. So it is truly scary times. It's just like when he said the existing White House will not be touched. We were going to build a new ballroom, and then they completely tore down the east building, the facade. Completely tore it down, clear back to the original White House. And there's nothing. Congress is supposed to okay this. Anytime you change a national historic building, you have to go through a permitting process. You're supposed to show the plans for the new building. He shows some little drawings they've drawn up. There's no plans. Nobody's seen anything. He is basically doing whatever he wants to do, or whatever he thinks he wants to do, because of the ideas that people like Stephen Miller, who we've gone through before, an exact copy of Goebbels, and gave the same speech that Goebbels gave in 1932, the exact same speech with the same thing about poisoning our blood and etc. So I'm getting too wound up again, so. All right. Where are we? Offering. If you have anything to share, please do. If there's anything that people need help with, let us know. And we're going to hear Shenandoah. We have a black cat. We've always had black cats for some reason. Tractor Supply has a pretty amazing supply of skeletonized creatures. You've got roosters, you've got a horse, you have a spider. I actually ordered a raccoon. I thought it would scare away the raccoons at home, but it didn't come in time. I was going to have it here today, but it hasn't come, so hopefully I'll get it for next year. And Casper the Ghost. And when I was a kid, this was what we wore for Halloween. You put two holes in a sheet, and you put a sheet over it, you was a ghost. Today, I was just at Walmart. People are paying $30 and $40 for kids' costumes they look like the costumes you see on TV. I mean, they're pretty well made, but they're a lot fancier, and people are spending more money than they used to. And people think, the kids, you know, they bought into that commercial culture. They think they have to have that. When you say just put on a sheet with some eye holes cut in it, oh no, that's way too simple. I want you to spend money on my Halloween. That never ends to irritate me. People, one of my renters asked for money to go buy a cake for her kids for her birthday. And I said, I'll make you a cake. Make a sheet cake. I make them for every carry-in. And you can have a birthday cake for like $3. Oh no, can you loan me $15 so I can go to Kroger and buy a ready-made cake? Those cakes taste like crap anyway. They don't taste as good as a cake. It's that frosting is nothing but pure sugar. So anyway, that's enough of the old guy complaints. Okay, did we do our final hymn yet? 69 is Give Thanks. Thanks for the mills and the farms of our land, for the craft and strength in the work of our hands, for the beauty of our artists and poets have wrought, for the hope and affection our friendships have brought. Once again, the lyrics on these songs are something to behold. All right, we have established we all have two religions. The religion we talk about and the religion we live. We all have two religions. The religion we talk about and the religion we live. It is our task to make the difference between the two as small as possible. William E. Gardner. All right, our postlude is Indian Summer. may be in, and our obligatory I love that. That's a horse. Horse in a different color. All right, donuts and coffee. I turned the heat up about 9 o'clock, and it's gotten a little bit warmer. Since Chaz is not working anymore, we're gonna have to figure out another way to do that. So enjoy your Halloween. Comes up this Friday, I think is Halloween. So hopefully the ghosts and goblins will not give you too hard a time. Keep the faith and support your community. Anything we can do to help, let us know. And if anybody wants lessons on how to carve a turnip, I'm here. I'll see if I can get it so it's direct, so you don't have the delay, but you can hear better. Okay.
I was hearing two conversations.
Yes, well, I thought with the headphones, you wouldn't hear me, you would only hear that. But if I can get with the other TV, you'll hear exactly what everybody else is hearing.
Yeah.
So I just need Emerson or somebody to come help me
Don't worry about it. I hear you just fine with my hearing aids.
Well, that-
I just keep forgetting to wear them because I've got them, so I hear you.
Well, you can get hearing aids now at Tractor Supply. They're supposed to be for hundreds, but for $70 or $80, they just magnify. They're not fancy. They don't filter the sound.
Well, I got mine at Costco, and it was like $1,600.
Yeah.
It was
Still
third.
cheaper.
Yeah, it was a third of what Miracle up here. I went down there practically around the corner, and they made it sound like I was going to have Alzheimer's in 2 days a week if I didn't do something. And I thought, there's no way I would ever buy anything
And they're like
from them.
$5,000.
Yeah. And they make it sound like, I mean, I'm an immediate idiot,
Yes.
you know, unless I get these things.
Well, and people who are severely hard of hearing, that does, because they're cut off from the world. It's not so much Alzheimer's, you kind of fade away because you don't have
It's very isolated.
It is very isolated. But we just need to hear the sounds, even if you're hearing them late. It's still better than not hearing them at all. But I'll get it figured out, so.